It's not Wednesday. Should be, because the last show we did was on Tuesday morning, but things went kind of pear-shaped yesterday. I've got Mario with me this morning. It was yesterday was weird. We tried several times to start the show. Now I've got like 5 iterations of this show sitting on Rumble and by the way, Mario, the shows we did the like 5 times we tried yesterday, they all got between 50 and 200 views.
No, they didn't.
Between 50 and 200 people clicked on each of those videos trying to watch this show yesterday.
Well, they shut it down. Okay,
they did. It was something broke in the algorithm.
Shut down.
Funny story. This morning, something broke in Facebook, but we can keep going without Facebook because it's absolutely our smallest viewer base, and the streaming software isn't contingent on Facebook. So
I had
here we are.
I had a long conversation with Alan Greenblatt, okay, and Rabbi Shmuley yesterday. Okay, we worked it out. We're allowed to go back on air. So,
so this morning we're going to be talking about.
I had to get fitted for a butt plug though. That was uncomfortable.
Is it metallic?
Yeah.
Does it have leads?
Yeah, I was told to avoid any MRIs in the near future. So, yep.
Crime is
all
down.
Right, so
it's not down.
Democratic whistleblower told FBI that Adam Schiff approved classified
one thing I've
leaks to
admired about
Trump.
you, when you got there, you reached out at your hand, and Muriel Bowser, the mayor, took it. And you guys have a good relationship. I know she's under a ton of pressure from
it's playing the article.
Her left flank and maybe her city council. Here's what she said last night at a town hall.
Damn it.
This is a time where community needs to jump in.
You talk about this, and I'll try to figure that out.
We all need to do what we can in our space, in our lane, to protect our city, and to protect our autonomy, to protect
his position
our home
as
rule.
the House and Chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. All right, starting under Obama, okay, began leaking information to the media in regards to a nothing burger scandal involving Donald Trump and the Russian government, okay, which was they claimed was assisting him in winning the 2016 election through various like tailored access operation type events, okay, none of which turned out to be true. It's fixed, Chris, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah, it's fixed.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
You were more spun up. I just read about Comey. You're more spun up on the Schiff thing.
Okay, so gotcha. Let's get back to that. Democrat whistleblower told FBI that Adam Schiff approved classified leaks to target Trump. A Democratic whistleblower told the FBI that Adam Schiff approved leaking classified information in order to discredit President Donald Trump, according to newly released documents. The documents, which were obtained by Just the News, were recently handed over to Congress by FBI Director Kash Patel. The whistleblower reportedly worked for Democrats, on the House Intelligence Committee for over 10 years and reported Schiff's alleged behavior to the FBI in 2017. So that's the real scandal here, right? The immediate allegation is that Adam Schiff was essentially one of the, if not primary architects, one of the major outlets to disseminate artificial information on Trump with reference to the Russia hoax. And so there's a few things here. There is no doubt, right? It is incontrovertible now. We know it to be fact that the entire Russia Gate hoax was entirely fabricated from whole cloth by the Hillary Clinton campaign, the DNC, and I'll give a little bit of credit here. Obama's involvement is an almost guaranteed certainty, but we don't have that proved directly. We have pretty compelling evidence, but that Hillary Clinton was involved with the crafting of and paid for the dissemination of the entire Russiagate hoax. That's proof. That's incontrovertible. It's amazing to me that at this point there is no prosecution going on. There hadn't been a grand jury impaneled, nothing to indict Hillary Clinton for the crime of defrauding the American people. And all of her staffers, Perkins Coie lawyers, essentially anybody with a D next to their name should absolutely be getting looked at right now for conspiracy to defraud the American people. That happened. But then there's one more piece of this that is perhaps the real scandal. Like I said, conspiracy to defraud the American people. He reported Schiff's behavior to the FBI in 2017. And we're just hearing about this whistleblower now. The only way that is possible, the only way for that to be the case, is if the FBI actively suppressed and covered up this whistleblower report. 2017, that's almost 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that means that there was credible evidence presented to the FBI while 2017. That's before the Mueller investigation really got swinging.
That's right. It's back when Comey was still in charge of the FBI. Okay. And Comey actively suppressed all of that.
That also means that this whistleblower made his report while Comey was in charge of the FBI, before he was fired, before Christopher Wray was put into place.
And it means Wray never picked up the ball on it.
Right.
Yeah. Now,
it's possible. We've seen the way some of this classified stuff happens. There's shit sitting in locked filing cabinets and skiffs. Nobody knows what the hell it is. I don't know if you ever had to do this, Mario. I was sent once to the wall of filing cabinets with a big brown paper bag, and had to go through and identify documents by dates and content and remove them from the record to be destroyed. And then you take them out to the burn pit and you smoke a half a pack of cigarettes in 2 hours while you stand there and poke a fire with a 7-foot rebar.
Yeah, the really advanced one is at first it goes through a shredder, okay?
Yep.
Which basically dustifies the pages. And then the dust goes into an incinerator.
It doesn't. They're not
it's a little ridiculous.
Into strips.
It's
a multi-layer shredder. So it goes in. There's a top layer that shreds it into strips, and then the strips hit another layer that shred it crosswise. Yeah. It's the confettiizer.
Yeah, it looks like imagine like a paper shredder, but it's like the size of an industrial wood chipper. Okay.
Yeah.
It's utterly ridiculous. And they're like, you can't get staples in there, you'll break it. I'm like, bullshit. Look, this thing will eat staples for days. Don't lie to me.
But yeah, so what we're hearing now is that Schiff is a shady character, and I think it's worth mentioning. Remember, we're talking about Schiff, and the whistleblower is telling us that.
Give him a little context. Give him a little context inside the meeting room, inside the chambers, okay, of House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff. Okay, they're talking about doing like regularly scheduled leaks to the press, okay, of classified information in regards to the Crossfire hurricane, right? The investigation into essentially the FBI's code for the investigation into Russiagate, okay? Talking about regularly scheduled releases of classified information. And this aide specifically told Adam Schiff, quote, hey man, that's illegal. And then he was told by other staffers that, no, don't worry about it. Nothing's good. Nothing will happen to us. There will be no reprisal for this. No one will know, right? Oh, well.
Now, so, I mean, in defense of those staffers, It looks like they weren't wrong.
Yeah. They're still not wrong because nothing. The other foot has not dropped on this. So
correct. And let's remember, we're talking about Schiff here. Schiff, who is currently being investigated. They're moving forward with prosecution over
his mortgage
real estate fraud.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. Where he's claiming residency in 2 properties on both coasts. Okay. For tax purposes.
No, it's worse than that. He's claiming that his property on the East Coast. He's claiming that the home he owns on the East Coast is his primary residence, so that he gets favorable mortgage interest rates on that property, right? But the problem with that is that if that's his primary residence, then he's not a California resident. He cannot.
That's right.
He cannot have the job he has. He can't be a senator.
Adam Schiff, Democrat, Maryland.
And he's been right, and apparently this has been the case since he was in the House.
Right, but see, that's the thing. What you'll find with most criminal investigations of basically criminal masterminds, okay, or like capos, right? You'll find that they'll be investigated for one thing, but what they get brought down for is always something like tax related, okay, or finance related, okay. They don't go down they don't go down for 44 counts of second degree murder, right? Like a mob boss. Mob boss goes down for didn't file taxes on his sub.
Right, tax avoidance.
It's tax fraud. So it's one of those things. So Adam Schiff will get punishment, probably in the form of heavy fines that he's going to pay in regards to his little real estate scandal. But that'll be it, okay? And that will be and then the beast will be happy with itself, pat itself on the back that it got accountability for someone involved. Right. You know what I mean? Even though really he should get the gallows. All right, he's a traitor. It's fucking straight treason. He betrayed his president. Are you there? Oh no, Cristobal is helado. He is frozen. What will we do now? Okay. Well, I guess we'll move on to everyone's favorite FBI director, James Comey, okay, who was running his own little information leak operation for years. Most of it was done through the conduit of his one of his close personal friends, Daniel Richman, who was a Columbia University law professor. Okay, he confided in him with Chris lost power. Okay, got it. Classifying. He would confer classified information regarding the ongoing Crossfire Hurricane investigation with this friend, and then that friend would selectively leak information revealed in their private conversations to the various big media names. Okay, New York Times, Washington Post, right, etc. Right. So this Richmond guy is being used by his buddy Comey essentially to constantly keep this story in the news, right, in the hopes that it would eventually generate a what's it called? Not congressional investigation, a special counsel. Okay, special counsel investigation. And Comey was ultimately successful in doing that. The Robert Mueller investigation began, I believe, in early 2018, right? Pretty much right after someone got fired. I forgot who. Anyway, so that began. And once the special counsel's in play, then you've got basically a self-perpetuating political legal machine that will continue working and continue discrediting or providing that fear for the Trump administration as he attempted to maneuver through the first 3 years of his presidency, his first presidency, with this kind of albatross around his neck, okay, which was, in the end, a nothing burger. I think you all understand that, okay? That Russiagate, Crossfire Hurricane, all of it was complete bullshit, okay? Trump did no such thing. The Trump administration in no way colluded with Russia. All of it was fake. All of it was made up, and it was fed to the media in careful drip doses, all right, to keep the story in your mind, all right? Total fucking psyops. This is like CIA Operation, it's not Monarch. It's the CIA operation where basically they have journalists and news anchors on the payroll, and then they continuously feed them the stories that they want them to that they want them to present to the American public. Okay, so intelligence agency directed news media, which is, well, that's how the CIA did business for a long time. But they stopped. You can trust them now, guys. It's okay. Okay, so Justice Department decided not to pursue any criminal charges against Comey or any of his lieutenants or now Senator Adam Schiff, despite potential evidence of leaks, saying it could not be certain of who leaked it and to when. All right, so that was Christopher Wray, who did his own little sloptastic investigation right after Comey got fired. Okay. And the other thing, after Comey got fired by the FBI, it didn't stop there. Chris, are you back online? Can you hear me?
I'm back.
Okay,
yeah, the flipping power just went out over here.
Okay, there we go. Just waiting for your audio to normalize. Awesome. Okay. So
let me double check that connection.
And JF Bryan says Project Mockingbird. Yes, that was the operation where the CIA was directly feeding news stories to the mainstream media. Okay. So another thing to keep in mind here is that even after Comey got fired, like, the bullshit didn't stop. It was revealed, and I for this alone, I don't understand how Comey is not in prison. Well, I mean, I do, because they're corrupt as fuck, and nothing ever happens. Okay, unfortunately, Comey was keeping detailed notes on all of his interactions with President Trump. Okay, like, every time he spoke to the president, he would make detailed notes of what their conversation was and everything pertaining to it. Right? Okay, basically using his own president essentially like he's a humanter, and using him as basically a human, a source. Okay. And then
that by itself is illegal.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that is, if there was ever privileged communications, okay, that would be privileged communication. All right. A president and his direct appointee. Not that he appointed Comey, but still, you get the idea. And yeah, after he got fired, he took all his notes on Donald Trump, and he kept doing the same goddamn thing, and feeding basically salacious material to the media in regards to Trump. Of course, with his own little editor's notes and his own conjecture as to the nature of the of the conversation with Trump, and of course he would always paint it in the worst possible light.
Oh yeah, and God, Comey's like 6'9". And right, and he would talk about how sometimes he felt like he had to hide behind the curtains because Donald Trump terrified him so much because he's such an evil man. You remember that shit?
Like, so scary.
You're a grown ass man.
He's a fucking giant.
Like, real quick, I obviously missed a bit because we lost power over here. And I was able to come back up as quick as I was because I've got a big, powerful, uninterruptible power supply over here. I need to get a separate one and hook it up and plug the Wi-Fi router into it. Anyway, back to Schiff for just a second, because this is what I was about to point out, and I don't know if you got to it or not, but let's not forget that we're talking about Adam Schiff, who for literally years, while the Russiagate hoax was being investigated and perpetrated and prosecuted in the media, said over and over again, we have the smoking gun evidence that Vladimir Putin absolutely stole the election for Donald Trump. And he kept painting it, right, like this was bizarre. Most of the DNC run government cheese media was running with this narrative that Donald Trump was a puppet of Putin, but Schiff kept selling it like basically Trump contracted Putin to steal the election for him. And he kept telling us, we've got the smoking gun evidence. We can prove it. We've got the evidence. The evidence is going to come out. We're going to show you the evidence. We've got the evidence. He said it over and over and over and over and over again. And importantly, he told that lie repeatedly to the press outside of the well of the chamber. Now, the reason that's important is that within the well of the chamber, how representatives in the House and senators enjoy a much more, they basically have even freer speech than you do. Anything that they say in the well of the chamber is protected, even if it's libel per se or defamation per se. Right? Out in the real world, there are certain things you say, you're free to say them, but it might open you up to prosecution for defamation or libel or injurious slander, right? But even when you make a verifiably false claim about the character of another person that is provably derogatory and causes harm to that person, if you do it as a senator or a House rep in the well of the chamber, you enjoy broad immunity to those accusations. Now, right. Schiff made those sorts of clearly false and defamatory accusations in the well of the chamber and outside of it on public airways. For that alone, he should at least be sued over the defamation. And Trump has a great record on successfully suing people over defamation.
That he does. And back to Comey real quick. So one of the, and just so you know that he's not, I mean, you obviously know this, but just further confirmation that he's not a good faith character. Okay. Is the irony that Comey decided he decided not to pursue Operation, like any prosecutorial conclusion to Operation Midterm Exam, which was the operation regarding Hillary's emails, right? And he did it for the reason that due to the importance of the story, or due to the headline getting attention or nature of the story, and in an environment prone to where leaks to the press are commonplace, okay, it would be unfair to prosecute Hillary Clinton because information related to the case would be leaked to the public. Okay, so basically, because I'm operating a leaky ship. Okay, it would be unfair to prosecute Hillary Clinton, but the leaks are there because I augured them myself. Okay.
And Trump faced a lot of criticism in his first administration for all the leaks that came out of otherwise secure information facilities. And the fact is, yes, the buck stops with Trump, and yes, it was Trump's fault, but let's be clear, the thing that Trump did that made it his fault is he made the mistake of going into that office and not cleaning house the way he should have. He has not repeated that error. One of the best things I can say about the current Trump administration is he did learn from that mistake. He came in and he started replacing everybody, and that's what he should have done the first time around. Fire everybody you can fire.
He's not doing it Obama-style board wipe, okay, but it is better than it was last time.
Not quite, but
yeah.
Obama didn't come in and fire everybody. Obama came in, abolished the sitting government, and established a new one.
Yeah, that's right. What we today refer to as the deep state. So, and Trump himself even admitted fault. Okay, and it's pretty rare, all right, to hear Trump actually admit I screwed that up. Okay, or take any. Normally Trump doesn't. It's just it's a character flaw. But on the Rogan interview prior to the election, Trump actually did reveal that when he and his administration first entered office in January 2017, he was essentially like thunderstruck. Okay, like by just the enormity of his position, okay, and the enormity of the government around him. All right, he was spellbound to an extent, and he leaned more on Reince Priebus, if you'll remember, who was his original was it chief of staff, wasn't it? I think so. Reince Priebus, the former the head of the Republican National Committee, the head of the RNC, relied on him heavily to basically, try to assemble his team for him. Yeah. And then with Sessions recusing himself immediately, basically Trump's number one legal asset, okay, his attorney general, recusing himself right away like a bitch, okay,
from everything.
Yeah. I mean, like I've said on the show many times, at a minimum, Trump, whether you love him or hate him, he deserves a 2-year refund, okay, on his first administration.
Yeah.
Okay, he deserves a 2-year refund. And in fact, that's why he's always teasing, like, maybe I'll run a third time, despite the fact that there's a constitutional amendment that says you can't. His argument is, I got cheated. Basically, I got swindled. I got swindled out of a deal. Okay, and now I'm coming back, and I'm basically suing.
Yeah, there was no benefit of the bargain. There was no meeting of the minds.
Yeah, breach of contract,
null and void.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I understand that won't happen, but I do understand it. Okay. All right. And then Comey, this law professor, okay, Richmond, right? Comey actually gets him he gets the government to hire him as a special government employee in 2015, and then grant him a TSSCI. Right. That way he can have his conversations about everything he wants to leak in regards to Hillary Clinton, because understand, he's not just protecting himself against the future Trump administration. Okay, he's also protecting himself against Obama and Hillary. All right. See, he's a shrewd individual like that. He knows that it's probably more likely that the double tap to the back of the head with a suicide note, that's more likely going to come from the Democrats, okay, than the Republicans. Okay, so he's defending himself against both sides, which is why he has his trusted guy, Professor Richmond. Yes, like I said, got him a top secret security clearance, and then he can just blab to him about essentially anything, regardless of the fact that even if you have a TSSCI, you still have to be read on. You know what I mean? For a specific mission. It doesn't mean you can just go. It doesn't mean I can just discuss willy-nilly, anything with Chris just because we both had a TSSCI at one time. Okay.
Right. I mean, we could in fact both carry the TSSCI, actually physically be inside the same skiff. But working on different missions inside that skiff, and we still can't even legally discuss some of the material related to our individual missions inside the secure facility.
No, the funniest shit is
that's what the compartmentalization part is all about.
The fun stuff is going home and not telling your wife what you did all day, even though you both have TSSCI.
I've cracked that joke a few times. I mean, there was a while there that Fee and I worked in the same shop and still had missions different enough that we couldn't discuss them at home.
Fun stuff.
It's, that's the dinner conversation. So how was your day, babe? Can't talk about it. How was yours? I can't talk about it.
Yeah. And I don't want to give you any false advertising.
That's how you end up binge watching television right there. Well, we're not allowed to talk about work, so let's get into some BBC. Let's do some Netflix.
Yeah. So, yeah, it sounds exciting, guys, but it's not. Trust me. Just because it's top secret doesn't mean it's exciting. All right.
Well, I mean, like I've talked about I've discussed this on the show before, and this isn't really sensitive. It's just the fact of the matter. What is classified is almost never the information itself. It's almost always the collection method or the individual people who are responsible for the collection to protect our ability to continue to conduct that collection and to protect the individual. Right? I mean, some of us have fatwas out there. Still.
And you remember, yep. I bet you do. There's probably a wanted sign somewhere in somewhere in Helmand Province, right? In some little shithole mountain village, a picture of basically bad Santa.
It's just the Kool-Aid man. It's the Kool-Aid man and an IOTV coming in through your wall.
Yeah. Fucking, did I turn you in? I can get 10 goats for your ass, Chris. You better watch out.
Yeah, but they're not the good goats. You're not gonna get 10 unfucked goats for Lowry today.
I was going to ask. They've been gently used.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. Wink, 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 wink. Nudge, nudge.
Not so gently used.
Yeah. Also,
10 goats.
Also, what's now
prolapses.
Also, what's now been revealed is, you remember the disgraced FBI special agents Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, right? Who were fucking nasty on the DL, okay? And also work at basically feeding information to the media, salacious, like the actual salacious stuff regarding Donald Trump. Yeah. Well, turns out the Comey himself actually directed them to do that with the New York Times. So that's another angle for Comey. I mean,
yeah.
Here's what's going to happen, okay? Or here's what I don't want to happen. If at any point this gets consolidated into some type of a Senate or House investigation, that means it goes nowhere. Okay, I have 44 years old. Okay, I've been seeing congressional investigations, being aware of them for at least 20 years. All right, my life of me paying attention. And I have never
seen a tangible result.
I have never seen a single one of them have any sort of result. Never. Okay, this needs to go to a grand jury, okay, or a special counsel. Keep this the fuck out of the hands of Congress. If Congress wants to get involved, politely ask them to sit down. You, sir, no, sir. See, you don't do anything. You have to sit down. I'll bring you popcorn. You can watch the show. Okay, stay the hell out of it.
If Congress wants to get involved, every member attempting to take this into a congressional hearing should be investigated for conspiracy. They should be treated. It should be immediately assumed that they are part of the conspiracy and they're attempting to run cover, because that's all they've ever appeared to have done. Right? I mean, let's not forget when Comey came out and did his little press conference for Hillary, he read intent into a statute that does not include intent, explicitly for the purpose of making the argument that she is not guilty because she lacks the mens rea that establishes intent. And we're all sitting here like, hold up. We all got trained up on UCIT 18 and signed the same NDAs. That not only is it not possible that this bitch did not know what she was doing and was therefore unable to form the intent, but the intent is irrelevant.
Yeah. And
like I said, you're going to deploy in 6 months, right? Your training and operations NCOIC has come to you with a manila envelope that says family plan on it, right? You take your family readiness plan, and you've got it, and you've got to walk around walk around your shop and get some signatures on documents explaining how, while you're out of the country doing God's work, this is who's going to watch your kids. If your wife is going to be home doing the single mom thing with your kids, this is who's going to get them if something happens to her. If something happens to you, here's 30,000 different powers of attorney so that she could take over all your information, et cetera, et cetera. You've got all that in this manila folder, and you go in, you set it down on your desk after you get all your signatures, you do some work on your classified mission. You've got a document that says TSSCI no foreign across the top of it. You set that down, you set another something on it. Then the boss comes by and says, "Hey, you needed me to sign something in your family readiness plan." You pull it, you grab the file, Oh, yeah, here, I need you to sign this one. You set it back down, and then you get up. It's time to leave. You're going to lunch. You're going to throw your family readiness plan in your truck so you don't forget it when you go back over to the unit to turn it in, and you accidentally picked up that TSSCI no foreign document that was sitting on the desk that the manila folder was sitting on top of. Mm-hmm. Boom. No intent. Totally accident. You've just broken the law. Mm-hmm. You have just committed the felony, and it will be, if it's political, especially if it's politically convenient, it will be prosecuted as if you got on a plane with a secret hard drive in a fucking briefcase handcuffed to your arm to go and sell the nuclear codes to Putin.
Yep. And if I might add, if I may, for a bit of color here, one of the reasons I don't regret not being in the Army right now is because that type of stuff you're talking about where you have personnel actions, okay, like S1 administrative activities, and there is any sort of overlap with top secret material, okay, or classified information.
Oh, God.
That is the most traumatic night. I have PTSD, not from war, but from basically
dealing with 92 alphas that aren't read in.
Not for 92 and 42s, okay, from dealing with them and getting my shit kicked back, okay, or getting my soldier shit kicked back, okay. There's a reason I can't go into any government office today, okay. I get a cold sweat, I start shaking, I literally start tripping out if I'm in a government building, okay. I physically can't fucking be there. I start getting upset, all right, totally irrationally and total emotional, okay. There's something wrong with me. All right. I
had a soldier. You talk about those. What a pain in the ass. I had a soldier. He had a girlfriend, a fiance who he lived with. Right. And they had a 1-year-old baby together, but they weren't married yet. And it was pulling teeth for over a year to try and get his pay sorted out right. The little 92 behind the desk kept saying, well, no, he can't get benefits for his girlfriend. They have to be married. I'm like, it's his kid. We're not asking for benefits for his girlfriend. Yeah, he has a dependent.
Forget her. She doesn't exist.
He has a dependent. His baby. The dependent is his kid. No. Okay. The mother died. He's a single father. He has a dependent. We have to pay him for the dependent. We haven't paid him for the dependent.
Yeah.
For the entire lifespan. Well, but they're not married. Of course they're not married. She's his daughter. He's dating his daughter? No, you fuckwit.
Yeah.
And I mean, I rode that bullet train for a flipping year before we got that soldier sorted out.
Dude, my biggest nightmare was it was a soldier. He originally was selected for West Point. Okay, went to U.S. Army Academy. All right, mm-hmm. But he basically rocked out. Okay, washed out, got into trouble or some shit. Basically, was hitting the booze a little too hard, and basically he got kicked out of West Point.
You wasn't a Chamberlain or Benford?
No.
Okay.
No, he didn't do anything awful. Threat? No, he just academically failed. He was actually a squared away guy, okay, in most regards, all right, an intelligent individual. He failed out at West Point, okay. Now, the problem with that is if you have that like West Point code, right, on your ERB, but you don't actually graduate West Point, right, what happens is the money that the government was spending on your education, they start taking that out of your paycheck, okay? So he's a specialist, and he's getting void, like he's getting no money. Like, yeah, exactly. Both pay periods a month, indefinitely zero money. They're taking all of his paycheck for basically the West Point, basically the West Point money. All right, and it was me, a staff sergeant, a sergeant first class, a first sergeant, and a sergeant major going to like the military district of Washington administrative offices in Fort Belvoir, okay, trying to get them to stop raping this soldier. He's not at West Point. He's right here in the 719th Battalion, okay? Stop taking the money, please. Like he was sleeping on a platoon sergeant's couch, okay? The soldier couldn't feed himself. We had to feed him. We had to shuffle him between different people's houses. He couldn't get in the barracks because the barracks takes a certain amount of money for the, you know what I mean, like the BAS or whatever. Yeah, he literally couldn't afford to live. He could not afford to live.
and it's not like he could just walk away because then he's AWOL.
Exactly.
What's he going to go do? He's going to go get a part-time job?
Yeah. Everyone, all the guys, the Sergeant First Class and above, the guys above me were like, yeah, this is the craziest shit I've ever seen. Like, and I've seen soldiers still getting hazardous duty pay for 3 years after a deployment, and then they have to pay it back. Okay, and this is the craziest shit I've ever seen.
I had to pay on my way out. On my way out, going through issue, I had to pay for 3 pair of fucking work gloves. They're disposable. Those are supposed to be expendables, right?
Yeah,
I paid for 3 pair of work gloves.
So it was
right. But Mark, you're gonna love this, Mario. They made me pay for 3 pair of work gloves, which are expendables, right? But I had 3 sets of body armor. I had my original issued body armor. I had an upgraded issued body armor that were issued stateside from the unit, right? But then when we got down range, while I was in Afghanistan, they made the switch from ACUs to multicams, and they issued me a new IOTV.
Yeah.
When I out-processed and had to turn in all my gear, I tried to turn in that other IOTV, the multicam IOTV, and they didn't have a record of it at the unit in Hawaii. They wouldn't let me turn it in. I still have it.
Dude, that's based.
Awesome. Yeah, I still have the IOTV that I wore in Afghanistan.
I had a problem trying to out-process from the Army. I had to go sign out in Fort Belvoir, okay, of course, which is like the Military District Washington Command, and they wouldn't sign my shit because I didn't have 3 sets of FRACUs, fire-resistant ACUs, to turn in from Iraq from years ago, and I'm like, dude, I can't even go down to the PX. I can't go to the PX and buy 3 sets of FRACUs. Okay, I would if I could, just to get this over with. I had to go get like a special waiver signature from playing the signature scavenger hunt. Okay, and you have to pray that Sergeant First Class, whoever the fuck is in his office at the time. Yeah, this is just shit like that. Fucking nightmare. Okay. Anyway,
Sergeant Major said something earlier. Oh yeah, what happens in the skiff stays in the skiff. Boy, is that true, Mario. You remember being at that. We'll do it like this. Remember being at that one place where we had a skiff that was only for training purposes? It was a legitimate skiff, but there was never anything in it that was like national security stuff. It was classified for technical reasons.
Hawaii or Texas?
Purposes.
Texas. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And basically everybody there has just come from either basic combat training or some feeder AIT like DLI. So the majority of the people there are between 18 and 21. So what happened in the skiff and stayed in the skiff, Mario? You remember this?
Sometimes penises would find vaginas. Is that what you're getting at?
There were constantly soldiers getting busted for having sex in the skiff.
It was air conditioned really well. I mean,
it was super nice. It was super nice. Yeah. Summertime in Texas, it's 103, but it's dry heat. But that AC hit like something special.
It ain't going to be dry heat for long once you start bumping uglies.
Yeah, once you start bumping uglies in the skiff, it doesn't stay quite so dry.
It's going to turn into a slip and slide real quick.
But yeah, that particular Skiff was just like a honeycomb of little classrooms, and all night, every night, because it was easy to get caught if you tried to bring a girl back to your barracks room. But if you've both got an access badge, let's go do a little roller chair jousting.
We're gonna go study. Yes, we're gonna go study.
B. I love little notes like that tell us people know what they're talking about, know where they've been. B Controversial says one of those buildings was colder than the others. Yes, it was.
That's right.
And I remember which one, and I won't say it out loud on air, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so let's jump back to
Mario, because you mentioned West Point. Sergeant Major points out all service academies should be closed. Yes.
Man, there's a lot of heritage and tradition in those buildings, though. You ever walk around the Naval Academy in Annapolis?
Mario, there was a lot of heritage and tradition in those buildings. All that's left now is beautiful architecture, infected with the cancer of DEI.
I'm gonna tear my clothes, okay, like some kind of Sanhedrin.
So, I want to throw this little anecdote out there since we were talking a little bit about the service academies. I was Army, my wife's Navy. We were sitting on the couch watching TV one day, and this was several years ago, and a commercial came on for the Army-Navy football game that was coming up in a week or two at the time. And I don't remember exactly how he phrased it, but the announcer said something about Annapolis and the military service academies. Something like that. He phrased it as if Annapolis were not one of the military academies. And Fee says, "Hey, we're in the military too." And I looked at her and I said, "Yes, you are, baby. Yes, you are." I got slapped for that one. I still think it was hilarious. Hey, we're in the military too. Yes, you are. We're like, we're at Goodfellows. That's an Air Force base. Mario and I'd go out with our buddies, and we've all got the swagger and the haircut, and people would see us with our couple of buddies who were in the Air Force, and because it's an Air Force town, not a military town, people would say, "Oh, hey, are you guys in the Air Force?" And I would always say, "No, they're in the Air Force. I'm in the military."
Yeah, there's always ball breaking back and forth. That's what makes a joint service environment fun, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so just
well, I mean, without going down the rabbit hole of it, the ball breaking between the services, that's another part of the filter mechanism. Men testing men to make sure that they have the value to be retained and to be useful.
That's right.
Good men don't have useless friends.
Well, it's also if you can't handle your shit, if you don't have the emotional strength to handle a bit of bants with the boys, okay, with the lads, then you're not going to be able to. Able to handle the situation.
Hey, Mario.
Yeah.
Sergeant Major says today is his 50th anniversary since he joined the Army.
It's a Jubilee year. Excellent.
No shit.
I'm getting some coffee.
Yeah, that tracks.
One thing I wanted to add here on the end.
We're over time and off topic now, so I'm going to go ahead and button us up, Mario, if you want to.
Well, in that case, I'll come back. All right.
Yeah, just come on back and we'll go ahead and button it up, and because I'm out of coffee too, and like I said, we're over time and off topic.
I just one last thing I wanted to say about Comey is that there already was the Inspector General Michael Horowitz. Okay, if you remember from the Trump administration, there already was an investigation into Comey and into his leaks, and it was revealed that what he had done was unlawful. Okay, but he was never prosecuted. Okay, so understand what we've already played this game once before in 2019. Okay, 2019 investigation complete by the IG reveals that Comey is in fact a criminal. Okay, and nothing happened to him. So, what do you expect? More of the same in 2025, or do you expect actual justice. Well, I hate to be cynical, folks, but I'll believe it when I see it. Okay. Until then,
yeah, I'm right there with you on that one.
Nothing ever happens. Okay, until proven otherwise.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching this morning. Again, apologies for the debacle yesterday. Yesterday we couldn't start the show under normal circumstances. Today we managed to do a good show with a power outage in the middle of it. It just live is hard mode. We do what we can do. But we appreciate y'all watching this morning. Make sure you share the show with somebody, and don't just share it, guys. Talk about it. When you're hanging out with friends, chit chatting, and topics come up, say, "Oh man, you ought to go hear what Mario said about this. He really nailed it. He really nailed the analytics, and he'll explain it to you better." Especially on the deep dives. The deep dives are. I think we've been doing a great job with the deep dives. And I think people will enjoy that. So talk about the show and help us build it and grow it. Eventually, I would like for you guys to help me grow this show enough that I can fire Mario from his remote work job so that he could do this full time. So
come live in the cuck shed full time. This fucking door gets kicked in like I'm there, mattress on the floor, fucking with a piss bottle. Like, where's my shit, Romano? Like, I'll have it ready by Saturday, I promise.
Brother, if we get there, I'll buy one of those tiny houses off Amazon and stick it on the back acreage.
A real cuck shed for a real boy.
Y'all be safe out there, guys. We love you. And we will see you tomorrow.
All right. Ciao.
Oh, I just peeked over at the comments. Aunt Karen wants another show on tariffs. We'll do that. Plan for this Saturday's deep dive, but yeah, thanks for watching, guys.